Welcome back on in, everybody. It's been quite a while, but we'll be casting another set from the Pick Your Poison tournament today, and it's going to be my bracket J, that we'll be rounding out with the best of 5 final series between Cheese and Nessy, two players that we've of course already cast a few games of, so you should be well familiar with them if you've followed along on the channel, but even if not, it should be a fun time for all of us. This is the bracket I played in, remember, so still quite low elo. All these guys 900 to 1050 elo. These guys even on the lower end in this bracket. Yeah, really surprising results here, but these are some of the lowest seeds of our bracket who managed to make it to the final. So whoever wins here is of course going to secure a big underdog victory in the grand scheme of things. Now, the finals are best of 5, so we'll be seeing all 5 maps played here, at least if the players manage to make it to a 5th game. And the Civ matchups you can see at the bottom here as well. We'll start off with Teutons against Gujaras, apparently, and we'll go from there. Franks against Italians, Magyars against Malians, Mayans against Mongols, and Burmese against Vikings. But for now, let's just jump into that first game, shall we? I hope that's gonna be a blast. And there we go. Here we are, my friends. Let's waste no more time. Cheese Teutons against Nessy's Gujaras in game 1 on Golden Swamp here to take the lead in this series. And as always, this first game is the neutral map, which is none of the both players. Well, that was a weird way of wording that, which is nobody's home map, basically meaning that whoever wins this gets a real nice cushion in this series to fall back on, not having to win a game on one of the opponent's home maps. So let's see if they're able to do that. Now, starting things off, let's take a look at the Civ bonuses as always. On the right side, we've got the Gujaras. Got a nice little overview there. Of course, most notably, we already see they start with these extra bushes and are able to garrison livestock into these mills, where they will passively produce a decent amount of food over time, and that's exactly what Nessy is starting to do right here. Has the grand luxury of actually having the hunt right next to the mill, so that is another one of these very fortunate Golden Swamp generations where you can just, you just get the double whammy there for free, basically just being able to hunt next to the mill as well when you want to preserve your livestock, of course, to make sure you get value out of your bonus. Other notable stuff about the Gujaras, well, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of all these fancy civilizations, but they have those Shrivamsha riders, for example, that tank arrow fire, and they've got the chakram throwers, which are really cool, I have to admit, and are able to shred through masses of units if balled up, and can cut down whole infantry armies with ease. So pretty neat tools there at the disposal for Nessy. And on the other side, it is well, very much the opposite in a very old school Civ, as the Teutons for Cheese. Although the Teutons also have a wide array of bonuses that we will be more or less familiar with. Those include conversion resistance, making it more difficult for enemy monks to persuade your units to switch sides, but also extra armor on some of your units. One of the bonuses I missed last time, actually, but pretty good one here. Barracks and stable units with extra armor. So quite solid bonus there. And we've got, again, a whole list of bonuses here that you can look up and maybe screenshot if you feel the need to. Either way, we're already in the middle of the game here, with Cheese having a little bit of idle town center time, causing him to fall behind a tad in villager production. Also currently housed and is forced to insert loom into the build a little bit earlier than he probably would have liked. Remember that this is quite possibly the first game of the day for both these players, so If the gameplay and the builds are still a bit rough around the edges, that's nothing to be shocked about, and we can probably forgive them if that were the case. Now, either way, it's going to be very interesting to see if we see these guys go for the fast castle with the full walls, go for water, single dock, double dock. All is really on the table, and since this is the lowest elo bracket, and I've played a couple of games in this bracket as well on this map, I've seen it all here. Oftentimes people just really don't go for water, or at least not early on. And we've kind of seen the same thing here. None of these guys has so far indicated any ambitions to set sails anytime soon. And just 2 or 3 fishing ships can really pay huge dividend early on in the game. There's not a ton of fish in here, but if you're just able to get that little extra food income early, that can give you a very good lead here in the early stages. But neither player is currently making that a priority, so we'll have to see if that ever comes into play at all. We see nessy now also going for the loom when it was intended, most likely, and right up to feudal age after that, whereas cheese still has a few villages queued up there. Looks like the build is going to be a bit slower, and very interesting. I like the walling, of course. This map really offers itself to extensive walling between these closed quarter wood lines, but I just have to say, typically you want to start walling the front first, so to protect your eco from any actual super early rushes or anything of that sort. Nessy about to hit feudal age in a minute. She's about 50 seconds behind there, getting the extra 2 villages and also having quite a bit more idle TC time. So it's going to be a tad behind in the build, but of course with the extra 2 villages might be in a nice spot in the mid kind of term, provided of course nessy isn't able to do a lot of damage with the initial rush. And again, nessy as well, also walling off the back side first. I don't even like that a whole lot. I think these deer certainly could have been farmed, and if not pushed, at least gathered by a few hunters. But now you've kind of walled them out, and that makes it really awkward to gather them. We see the back stable, so unless you really want to hide a secret Gajara scout play, which I hate to break it to you, nessy, but the opponent might expect that nonetheless. I'm not a huge fan of this back stable. The berries have now all been gathered up, and he's resorting to actually killing the livestock that he's garrisoned in the mill. Not sure you want to do that with Gajaras, especially this early on. Would much have preferred, again, the deer to actually be pushed. And these livestock here haven't even been found yet, so I have to call into question the thoroughness of Nessy's scouting here. At this point in the game, you really want to have all those rounded up, especially when one of your bonuses revolves so heavily around being able to field those water buffaloes in the mill. Only 2 of them remaining right now, so maybe not the most ideal usage of the bonus. That being said, Cheese now bringing out those quite conservative walls. Has a few scouts in queue, but I believe Nessy was able to spot that with the Camel Scout. We see Cheese doing a fine-ish job scouting the enemy water. You really want to make sure you know if the enemy is on water, if you need to contest those fish, or if you've got anything to fear there. But if the opponent is not going on water, it just has to mean one of 2 things. Either they're going for a crazy FC or for full land aggression. For both these players right now, it would appear they are going for the full land aggression. I like the spearman being mixed in there by Nessy, having scouted the opponent's stable, so that he'll be able to trade more efficiently into those scouts. Nonetheless, we'll have to keep them around in the best spot to make use of them. Currently, they're just garrisoned within the barracks. He's going to see the scouts now come into his base. Let's see how quick he can react there. Scouts start hitting the villagers, but Loom makes it very difficult to take them out, and there come the spearmen. Pretty okay. You keep one of them on the wood line, the other one maybe on the mill or something, and you'll be good to go. But that being said, crazy good attention there by Cheese. What a play! Focusing a low HP villager that has presumably been used to lure one of the rhinos. Able to actually get a villager pick of these 3 scouts. Starting to lose a few now though. The TC fire really quite painful. About to lose another one just to the villagers, and straight into the base goes nessy. Lots of idle villagers that could have been well used to garrison there, but looks like Cheese is distracted on offense and might be taking a very disadvantageous trade here to start off the feudal age. Oh, currently Eco KD is 2-2, and actually it looks like oh boy, the Eco KD is going crazy now. Both sides are losing villagers left and right. Let's see who gets the better end of this trade, but it really looks like nessy might be in a really good situation. You have the spearmen around here really making all the difference. Still that walling villager being lost, so it's clear that both parties are under immense stress right now, trying to maximize the damage they do to the opponent's economy. All these villagers idle around underneath the TC even. Oh, that's so painful there for Cheese. Ought to pay attention here at home. That's so avoidable. And this is turning horrible for the Teutons right here, I gotta say. Scouts have been cleaned up. Now, of course, having lost the army on the front, has been able to pay attention at home again. Oh, the house walls weren't quite able to go up either. It's turning sour for Cheese in an instant here, who's floating 1,000 wood, but really has no other resources to react with currently. Forced to garrison all these guys. Luckily, he's getting really good town center shots off and able to take out almost all of the opponent's scouts, but all he has is wood right now. Down 6 villagers. The Eco KD doubled the villager kills by the Gajaras. So nessy is going to love the start that he's gotten off to. And look at that eco for the Teutons. It's really a rough look. Good news for them, they have that farm discount that we saw earlier. So with those 36 wood farms, I believe, able to get a good food economy up and running rather soon here with all the wood that they've backed up. Horse collar in as well already. So this doesn't hurt all too much. Well, the raid really hurts a lot. That's not what I'm minimizing. I'm just saying transitioning into the heavy farming right here doesn't hurt as much. You're getting good farms out of the deal, and they're quite cheap too. Gotta make sure though that the wood lines really stay walled. You don't want to lose any additional villages here because you're super far behind. Anyways, the idle TC time is going crazy. Still not queuing up any villagers. Really seems to be busy, and he's going to lose the house on this wood line. Oh, just started repairing but was not in time there. This game might be over rather soon, folks, as Cheese is now more than 10 villagers behind and losing another 2 here presumably. This has not gone well for one of our channel favorites here in Cheese. About to lose that woman here again, and that scout is not going to save him. Wonder why we're still making scouts there. Just spearmen probably would be a wise choice at this point. We've got the wood and the food as well. And look at those walls that he's forced to do now. He did such a nice job walling. The only thing he didn't take into consideration is that the opponent might just run straight through his TC, and that has cost him dearly here. The early phases of the game. At least does a proper job walling back up now, but way behind on the race to Castle Age. And let's see if nessy can take it from there. In a really good spot here that I am quite jealous of. This is a good place to be in right now. Still not going onto water. I feel like at this point in such a good spot that you're in, nessy, why not just make a dock and put out 2 fishing ships? The opponent is in no position to contest water whatsoever. You've got to know that you're quite heavily in the lead here eco-wise. I mean, of course this was so hectic, no player could have possibly kept track of how many villages they killed and lost. But just going off of the score and general feeling, it has to occur to them that nessy's probably in a really good spot here. Double the ice little TC time for Cheese, and again counting upwards here as he's not currently got anything queued up in the TC. It really hurts to see here that rough first game for Cheese. The number 13 seed. Remember, there's only 3 players in this bracket that's supposed to be worse than Cheese. Nonetheless, he's made it all the way to the finals. But now starting off decidedly on the back foot here. We'll have to come up with something grand to get a chance to come back in this one. Castle Age is in for nessy. Cheese isn't all that far away from it if he wants to commit for it outright. We see double TCs being dropped by the Gajaros. I don't think that's a bad call. I don't think there's any bad calls to make at this point, honestly. As long as you make something at all, I don't think you can maneuver yourself in a losing position as the Gajaros. If you just went double stables now and spammed the hell out of camels or whatever unit he wanted to make, that would be okay too. Cheese in chat here. Good to see you. I've just said how this is a super rough start to the finals for you here, as it looks like that feudal raid was absolutely devastating, and nessy going for the triple TC is a fine choice. I mean, you're so far ahead up to Castle Age that, yeah, basically going into just straight villager pumping doesn't sound too bad for me. And Cheese, on the other hand, is going to try his best to get up to Castle Age in the first place and then find some sort of a reaction as well and try to figure out what his play is here. We see the camels come in now for the Gajaros. Feudal Age upgrades on those, so it's not OP, but it's certainly pain to deal with here as they run straight through the farms. Admittedly, Cheese has done a good job at protecting that eco right now. All the villages are currently in a protected zone. That might change soon though if these scouts and camels are able to break into the woodland once again. Would be devastating impact once more. Absolutely, Cheese. Yeah, we pointed out that you had done such a great job walling up. Only issue was you banked on the fact that your town center was able to guard the front, which then when you raided didn't quite pay the attention on the home front there and suffered greatly from that. Now looks like that house might be in some serious trouble as more repair villages are being moved on over. Looks like the situation was stabilized here a tad. Monastery has the response now for Cheese, looking to potentially just take care of the camels with monks. Not a terrible choice by any means. Same thing happened last time you played this map. Oh, I'm so sorry. I probably casted that as well, but don't currently recall that. This is not a good look though. Still 20 villagers behind here, having lost yet again a few to those raids. I don't see this getting any better for the Tunes at this point. Gajaros, I like the play as well, right? Send some light raiding troops in here and just boom up on 3 towns and just make that lead insurmountable. nessy not really keeping all those TCs working, still just on 12 food wills. I again want to just add that 2 or 3 fishing ships here on the way to Castle Age could have been a great investment. But nonetheless, this is a great position to be in. Oh no, that was not you, was it? The game where a couple of eagles killed half your eco, and then you reverse swept the series, right? You were in such a great spot there. Then you lost your entire eco to 5 eagles, like 20 or 30 villagers. And that was in game 1, I believe. And then you reverse swept the series, I believe, if that was the series. Oh man. Can't believe it. This map really seems to be your bane. Where you start off really fine and then just get raided to death. Oh, well, double than the villager numbers right now for the Gajaros. 700 score lead. Cheese apparently trying his best to kind of get those villager numbers back on track. I mean, he's got the farms to sustain 3 TC production, but he doesn't have the villagers to do so. Much less the TCs. So, probably out of luck here. Oh, there's a gap in here too. I didn't even realize that was a hole here. Might have deleted a wall here, though. Maybe deleted a wall to go out and drop the TC, I'm not sure. Probably didn't, though. That's unfortunate then as well, but I guess that hole wasn't the one that ended up costing him so dearly. Up goes the TC in the east here, so at least that's another little bit of secure eco. But at this point, I mean, what are you really banking on? It looks like nessy has decided to go forward with some siege here. Let's see if Cheese got anything against that. 2 monks. Oh, okay. He's doing a good job converting the high HP camels. He's actually going to win this trade if he's attacking. Why are we not attacking? Okay, we're now attacking. Oh, might be able to snipe the Mangon. I'm not sure how much damage. No, he's not going to be able to do that, is he? Is he? I don't think so. Oh, okay, that was the... Wow. That was, I mean, 1 HP. That's just how good I am at estimating, at eyeballing those situations. Yep. The 1 HP Mangonel. Ugh. Insult to injury, really. 2 monks still apparently on the field, though. For Cheese, I don't currently see them. Are they in the town center? They are. Okay, out come the monks. In go the camels. Conversion not able to go through. And the monks have to hop back in there. And this isn't going anywhere, is it? 2 on food here for Cheese. I'm not sure that's going to be feasible to keep up for a long time. And that TC is about to go down to poor monks here. Not a bad idea to, of course, add some monks against camels. Just, yeah, kind of shifted balances at this point that I'm not, yeah, I can't really criticize the approach anymore from here on out. Nessy is, by all likelihood, going to take this one. Still up 25 villagers, still has the army, still has the entire map control, and is about to take down the enemy starting TC, and more villagers follow into the damn hell, as we so often like to say. It's a rough look. I mean, you couldn't really think of a worse way to start off a series, so we'll have to bounce back on one of his home maps here. Cheese will. Again, monks is all he's got against these camels, but well, numbers kind of trump everything here at this point. Still somehow hasn't taken out the TC. Will just every now and then popping out to make some repairs happen. Takes out the mangonels, so yay, partial victory. Just the issue is over the last 10 minutes his villager number hasn't increased, so Cheese realizes this and it gives it up here in game number 1 to Nessy, who takes the victory and is up 1-0 in this series. Well, no, stats aren't really interesting at this point. Too much garbage time here that is falsifying the data. Let's rather take a look at the draft once again real quick. It's Arena, apparently for game number 2. At least I was told that. Let's see if we got corresponding games in the replay. Yes, we do. I'm not sure if that's the Frank against Italian matchups then, or how to read this draft. It's going to be Arena though. Cheese says losing first map of the series seems to be his thing. Lost the first map every round up to this. Well, okay. I mean, it's even more devastating in best of threes. So I guess you're kind of in a more comfortable position here compared to the first couple of rounds. So, well, want to look at the bright side of things, I suppose. Hey there, Beige in chat. Good to see you. You're right in time for the Arena game of the series, so yay you. We've just seen game 1 of the finals here for Bracket J, and Nessy has gone up 1-0 as convincingly as humanly possible. Got a great raid in Feudal Age. Cheese wasn't able to stabilize off of that. And so, let's see if he can bounce back on one of his home maps here in game 2, which seems to be Arena. We'll jump right in there. It's apparently Magyars against Malians. I wonder why we see Magyars so dang often on Arena in this tournament. People keep picking Magyars, probably thinking that's a good overall civ, but opponents keep putting them on Arena, which, I mean, I guess I don't think they've done incredibly well, all things considered, from the games that I've cast. But I gotta say, it is a bit curious. Do we not have in-game sounds, by the way? Oh, we don't, I think. Oh, that is weird. Let me see if I can just quickly find a fix for that. Do I have anything wrong here? No, not really, I don't think. Whatever. I'm not sure what's different today from other days, but maybe we'll figure it out at some point. Either way, let's just follow along with the game. I just wanted to say that I'm not sure why Magyars continuously get picked for Arena, but hey, I think it's been working overall so far. I'm just typically saying that Magyars is pretty scary late game Civ to go up against, so I wouldn't have intuitively put them on Arena if my opponent picked them. Oh, the overlay is wrong. Yes, you're absolutely right. The overlay is wrong. It's bracket J. There we go. We've got that fixed. So, yeah. Thought I changed it everywhere. Apparently haven't. Let's look at the civs then. So we've got the Magyars here. We've talked about it 1,000 times, especially in Arena. They somehow always keep reappearing on this map. Typically, you've got a great scout rush because their scouts are just cheaper, and because they get the free attack upgrades for cavalry and infantry from blacksmith at the start of every subsequent age. But that's, of course, a bonus that's difficult to make use of here on Arena. Other than that, you've got really nice cav archers there in the late game. If you get that recurve bow, yeah, scary unit to go up against, so can't lie. And of course, also well known for the light cav spam then in the late game, still with the cost reduction as well, and just being a good cavalry civ. Overall, that's kind of what their yeah, bread and butter is, to be honest. On the other side, it is the Malians for nessy, also a civ that we've seen a ton of. I'm not sure though we've seen them a lot on Arena just yet, so we'll see how that matchup is going to go here. Got a couple of neat bonuses, cheaper buildings, makes that FC potentially easier. The town center drops easier as well. So pretty decent to boom with, I suppose. And then of course the amazing gold bonus that the Malians got in the April patch. We've kind of talked that one to death. If you're interested in that, there's tons of videos explaining why it's so great. I think Spirit of the Law has a pretty nice mathematical breakdown. Basically, best gold bonus in the game right now. Love to have it. And Malians, super cool infantry civ. That pierce armor you get for barracks unit with every age is super neat, especially if the opponent is likely going into cav archers at some point, or might be doing that. That is a good bonus to have, definitely, if you want to go into any infantry at all. And yeah, that's the Malians. So let's see who comes out ahead in this one. And let's see what type of game this is, because especially, I say this every time, but the lower elo you get, the less meta the builds and the strategies become. So it's really difficult to tell how the players are going to play this out. Oftentimes we've seen people just typically start out the castle age by contesting for the relics with scouts, spearmen, and monks. Other times people have just dropped a ton of town centers though and try to get the village elite, and not even regarding the relics at all. Notably, I think we've had a game with Lithuanians where the player has disregarded the relics in the middle, just gone for a hard boom and won the game that way. So we've seen all types of strategies in the tournament already. So far, so good. Nobody losing any villages to boars this time around. And let's see if they're able to get an interesting and maybe more closely matched going here then, in comparison to that first game. Of course, scouting so far, maybe not 100% clean here. We see Cheese idling the scout a bit. Again, I have to say this every time. When I'm playing Arena, I'm just scouting my base and then putting it on auto scout. Can't really be bothered with that. nessy has already uncovered quite a big part of the map right here, trying to apparently look for something here at the opponent's gate. Not sure what we're expecting there. What's the relic distribution like even? It's fair. Well, this is one of the fairest relic distributions I've seen. It looks like in general they're a little bit weighted towards cheese here, and the Magyars kind of has 3 closer ones. The opponent has 2 closer ones, just by eyeball measurement, but overall it looks pretty fine, I gotta say. Don't think that makes massive difference there. So yeah, it'll have to come down to who plays better for them, and maybe that could be an edge to carve out in this second game. Cheese going on to gold now. nessy already there. Builds looking quite similar. Idle TC times this time around a bit better for Cheese. nessy might have gotten housed or something, not sure what happened there. Is on the way up to Feudal Age here, apparently. Although, actually, it's going to get Loom before I wonder why we're getting Loom here. I don't think there could be any real reason for this. He's not going to try and drop a castle or a castle rush the opponent, or is he? Maybe he is. In that case, Loom might be very useful. I would be super shocked if that ended up happening, though. It doesn't really look like it for my money either. And Cheese is actually going to get up faster there to the next stage. Already about to be in Feudal Age in the middle minute there. And from here on out, it's of course all just down to how cleanly they can get into that fast castle. Remember, you need to drop 2 Feudal Age buildings and of course get the resources required to click up as well. Cheese very high on wood here. I wonder why I've got 700 wood lying around again, just like last game. Not the cleanest balance there. Great to see you guys in chat though. Hey there, everybody. Oh, it looks like Comey raided. That's a pleasant surprise here. Welcome in, everybody. I see Brutal Army in chat. That's great. I've already downloaded your matches as well. I'm intending on casting the bracket G finals between Brutal Army and whoever he played against tomorrow evening. Looking to cast that, so if you're interested in seeing that as well, make sure to stop by or just check out my YouTube channel in the next couple of days. We'll go up there as well. You're welcome, Komi. Thanks for hosting Pick Your Poison. It's a great tournament. I've had such a blast here, and lots of guys have checked out the stream too. So I've definitely gained more from this tournament than I've invested. That's really cool. So thanks for that as well. Great to see everybody come in here, and yeah, let's see what this series has in store for us. Cheese has lost that first game quite decidedly if you didn't catch it. Got Omega rolled in Feudal Age. They're not quite paying attention to the scouts in his base, so looking to bounce back on a map. Very smart tactical pick here, choosing a map where the opponent cannot possibly scout raid you. So good adaptation there, I gotta say. Really identified the problem from the first game, apparently. Yeah, Brutal Army in here. Thanks for the follow as well. Everybody's of course free to decide for themselves whether they want to follow. I think generally you should just follow channels that you're interested in. If you're not interested in the content, not really a point following there. So I'm not one to ask for follows, but glad to see people actually yeah, enjoy what we're doing here. Ooh, so it looks like both these guys got rather cleanly onto the way to Castle Age here. No huge idle TC times there in Feudal. And what kind of builds do we have? Cheese, still 500 wood floating. I thought that since he had 700 wood there a second ago, thought he might go for the barracks, stable, blacksmith or whatever. Just chop all that wood for fun though, apparently. Maybe just, again, preparing that to drop a bunch of town centers here in a second. And by a bunch of town centers, I mean 2 town centers, obviously. On the other side, for the Malians here, for Nessy, we've got the market blacksmith as well. We've also got the barracks already, which I don't think Cheese has dropped yet, unless I'm missing it somewhere. I don't currently see it though, and is going for the immediate double TC, whereas on the other side, Nessy seems to be going more for the military approach, although we'll see about that. Drops 1 TC and probably just gonna do another one as well, judging by the resources that he's got. But I just thought, why are we making the barracks if we're not going to contest the middle, if we're not looking to make spearmen and get out on the map? Kind of curious why, because I mean, it doesn't look like huge investment still, since he was still able to drop 2 TCs, but this could be 3 farms, and you're gonna need a lot of farms if you're dropping 3 TCs to actually get the villager production going that you're trying to set up there. So yeah, I just wonder what the thought process there was exactly. Wheelbarrow in already for Cheese. I'm not sure what the actual math is. I think I remember hearing that you should be picking that up around the 40 villager mark, depending on how many you've got on farms, most importantly, I think. But regardless, feels a bit early on the wheelbarrow, but guess not going to complain about that if he's trying to set up a bunch of farms now. That's very handy pickup. And Nessy just going to be a little bit behind on that 3rd TC, not going to be the end of the world. Generally, I expect both these guys to, well, they could be booming up quite symmetrically here. with equal villager numbers, but I just am not quite sure if nessy actually has the farming eco setup that he is going to need to actually support all those TCs producing here. Looks like he might be struggling to keep queuing up villagers. Actually has the monastery out as well, so he's definitely trying to make it a point to gain the middle control here. It looks like on the other side, Cheese really is taking that one slow. No military buildings yet at all. So might be a little bit behind in the relic game. That said, though, it's not like nessy has moved out with anything yet and hasn't made any units yet either. Although monks on the way, and with Cheese not making any military, the monks themselves are already gonna do the job just fine there for the Malians. Regardless, we see that what I just mentioned here in the idle TC times, nessy didn't have the adequate farm numbers there. I gotta say, really, this barracks here really starting to cost him. This could be 3 farms, and he's not made a single military unit out of the barracks, so that's kind of what's costing him that villager production, that he's not able to keep going here in perpetuity. So it's kind of the small things that tend to add up throughout the games, and that can really come to bite you at some point. Finally, we see military buildings as well for Cheese. I wonder. Let's check again what the scouting is. Does he have vision of all the relics? He should at this point, of course. Yeah, okay, he's done his homework now. Realizes that, wait a minute, one of these bad boys has already been snatched, and the second one is about to be gone as well. So if you want to still contest for any of them, you need to get out there quickly. No spearmen queued up yet, so maybe that isn't actually what Cheese has in mind. Maybe that's not one of his top priorities here. He's getting handcart already at 60 villagers. Well, I guess 60 villagers doesn't sound too bad. 30 farmers. Okay, no, I'm actually on board with that. Was able to get a real smooth boom going. And I gotta say, for a player sub 1000 elo, sub 1k, 24 seconds idle TC time on triple TC in Castle Age, quite respectable. That's why he's actually at 64 villages already. nessy not that far behind though, so I really can't say he's done a bad job. Able to even insert some blacksmith upgrades now on top of the villager production, so it seems that this farming economy has been fixed. Contrast that though, no wheelbarrow yet at all, whereas on the other side we've got the full handcart as well as the heavy plow, and that makes still for a more robust farming eco there for Cheese. That's going to probably pay dividends sometime soon. nessy already transitioning into forward stables though. Curious. I wonder what we're looking at here. I'm really not sure. This is quite the surprise to me. I mean, we could just go full Farimba, Knights, whatever. Not sure what I'm expecting here, really. But the issue is just that we need something alongside this, right? Oh, he's trying to get a castle alongside this. Fair enough. He's already 5 on stone, about to get that 600 stone. I was gonna say, we need some siege or something to break open the base with if we want to make use of any cavalry. Looks like it's gonna be camels for now. And it looks like the castle is gonna be the play here rather soon. Still not 100% sure what the idea is and how this play is going to shake out. On the other side, Cheese really at 12 villager lead at this point, so has done a nice job and is able to click up to Imp now as well. I was just going to say it's a lot of food that he had floating there a second ago, but is on the way to Imp now. Has the buildings presumably, otherwise, well, couldn't have clicked up. Oh yeah, went for the university and the monastery. Forward castle coming in for nessy here, but he's far away from Imp still, so if Cheese is able to gather that stone somewhat quickly, should be able to counter castle and trap win that one in the long term. Just has to make sure though that he's getting that castle up, and that stone is going to partially be denied here, especially if nessy just gets fletching. All he needs is one blacksmith upgrade to turn this castle from annoying to oppressive. Let's see if he's going to actually be able to realize that and put in the work. Actually, heavy plow coming in first here. Has the villager forward, starting to build up that castle. Cheese, of course, now aware of this, sends out some knights, trying to see, Has the opponent sent any military with that, or is that just a, well, a castle drop without any backup? And for now, nessy is actually just letting the villagers get raided. This is not quite proper. Trying to get a conversion here, gets it. That's really nice, of course. And now in go the camels. Those knights aren't going to be able to deny the castle, losing a few villagers there that he didn't necessarily have to, but I guess got the conversion of the back end of it, so not going to be all that annoyed with this trade. Castle is up. I still would really like to see him get fletching here. This stone is, oh man, this is so huge for cheese right now. He's already gathered half the stone, so if push came to shove, he could just buy the stone that he needs right now. This castle had been up just a second faster, which of course Nessy couldn't know that cheese hadn't taken any stone just yet, but that would have been absolutely massive to deny that. And still no fletching on the way, which I would really like to see soon. Imp is in for cheese, and as a consequence, Nessy trying to really buy his way up there as well, selling a lot of wood as a means of doing that. Castle on the way for cheese now. So he's done a good job and hit kind of the important markers here to try and stabilize this one. Has a much nicer economy, still up 20 villages, and already with the imp completed, where the opponent has just now started researching that. So that's going to be even a bigger villager lead here in a second, I anticipate. Getting good upgrades here as well. We see Cavalier on the way. We see the armor upgrades as well for the horsemen. Note, of course, that the blast furnace and all the previous attack upgrades had come in free of cost and of research time by means of the Magyar Civ bonus. Still nobody with fletching there, so those castles aren't actually that scary and that rangy. But both sides now focusing heavily on those military upgrades. I like the fletching for the Magyars. Make that castle worthwhile. But of course, main focus is going to be the cavalry for both sides. We've got camels against cavalier here for the time being. This could be quite interesting. Oh boy. Big point in the series here. Nessy already up 1-0 with a dominant first game. The victory here could place the series firmly in his hands and would put him on match point for the victory in our bracket J. On the other side, Cheese, though, is he getting Parthian tactics? He is. Oh, that's curious. He's also started up Cavalry Archer production, so that's interesting choice. I wouldn't have expected double gold out of him. That is quite ambitious. I would have thought maybe Light Calf and Cav Archers, or just Cavalier and Trash. But we're actually going double gold here. Let's see if he's going to be able to afford that. So far, he hasn't been denied any gold. But he's also not able to take the extra gold yet either. Good news for him, of course, as I've highlighted before, that Trebuchet War should be very easy going for him. And he's been firing away at that enemy castle for a while. And I don't think Nessy is going to actually be able to keep that castle up for all that long. Is up to Imp now himself, so can start producing those trebuchets. Isn't doing that for now though. Has no wood to do that. That's annoying. Buy some wood to make sure the trebuchet production gets underway. But look at this. He's basically behind two trebuchets here against the Magyars. Don't think that castle is going to stay up for all that long, and I would definitely prefer to be in Cheese's spot at this point. He's even getting plate barding already. He's got max upgraded cavaliers here against just regular camels on the other side. Heavy camel about to come in though. Oh boy, this could be a big clash here. We get recurve bow for the Magyars. I highlighted earlier how that's super scary Cav Archers. He's got Bracer coming into no armor upgrades yet for the Cav Archers. So if Nessy is somehow able to close the gap there, they could be suffering a ton. Castle is down though, so Nessy for now going to have to say goodbye to the prospect of pushing into the Magyar's base. Castle up again though, a little bit further back and trying to get more trebuchets out of there, presumably, although he's not currently producing any, so that's... I don't like that. I don't like putting a castle up there and not making any trebuchets out of it. Because why do we have... Okay, now he's making it. He's making them. I spoke a little bit too soon. He just took a little bit of time there. He's got the heavy camel completed now, so he's definitely got a force to reckon with here against the enemy Cav Archers. It's going to be heavily surprised though by the Cav Archers that might soon hit him, I suppose. In go the pikemen alongside the camels. Is a great trade for the Malians, but the cav archers now starting to fire away from the back line too. Still, this is a great trade for nessy so far. I gotta say, he must have taken out like 15 cavaliers there at least, and barely loses any of his camels. Well, might have lost half of them, but still. In go the cav archers, but that's not great, I don't think. You've got no armor upgrades on them yet, or just the first one, archer padding there. Oh, and he's completely getting wiped by those camels. You can't be taking the trades like this, I don't think. Oh, he didn't even get to take out the monks. Oh, that was costly trades for cheese, I gotta say. Losing a cavalier, okay. The opponent forced that one, but the cav archers should have been preserved a little bit better there, and thus the game not in as comfortable a state anymore for him. He still has a really good eco lead, so the position should still be good, but note how he's going double gold composition, although scratch that, he's now realized that that was a bit ambitious. He's going for light cavalry to back up the cav archers after all. I don't think that's a bad call. Loses the trebuchets though. That I don't think that's necessary. Why do we not have any repair villagers here? Would have made those trap wars much easier. Able to finally take out the opponent's last trap and pushing forward with the cav archers yet again. Has the second armor upgrade completed for them finally, and siege engineer is also on the way right now. Got a really good ball of cav archers at this point that's able to one-shot their camels, as we can see. So it's starting to get a bit concerning there for nessy. Still 15 less villages. Worker efficiency also much higher on the Magyar's part. So again, I gotta say, I would much rather be in the Magyar spot right here. And I've said this 1,000 times. But man, Magyar late game is scary. Pikeman there for nessy. Good unit on paper, but need a few more of them really to stop this push from taking back the momentum. Castle's about to start falling here. I don't really see what nessy's going to do about that. He's got a ton of resources. I would really love to see mass skirmishes at this point. That's typically what I do when the opponent slams me with cav archers and I've got 4,000 combined wood and food. I don't think the archery ranges are there yet, and no archer upgrades pretty much whatsoever for nessy either. So that's going to be a costly and, more importantly, a time-intensive transition for him. Actually, yeah, there we go. Some more archer technologies. That's what I like to see. The light cavalry now, the primary unit for cheese, apparently, is producing out of all these stables there. And still trying to push forward, take out the castles, and then turn it around. Go on the offense himself. Trying to find out what the opponent has got going here. The backside sees the castle going up here, presumably, so might be able to harass that if he actually catches it. Moving forward with the cav archers now, that could be devastating for nessy. Oh boy, he might lose the entire chokehold that he's had on the middle area right now. It's not looking great. He's still got the 5-0 relic lead from earlier, remember? But he's getting pushed back heavily, and only now is researching the heavy skirmishes. It really took him a while to set up these ranges and get skirm production going. Still hasn't produced a single one of them. It's not quite fast enough there for nessy. And the game plan, I saw the game plan. I could understand it, right? We just make a bunch of camels, try to break in with a castle, but it was just a bit too slow. Didn't quite agree on the order either. And now getting pushed back, and no answer for those cav archers who now have the full upgrades. We've got the recurve bow, we've got chemistry, got everything we could ask for on those heavy cavalry archers for a cheese. So looking poised to equalize the series here on his home map, which would be a much needed victory to keep this series interesting. Has pushed down this castle once again, and the Malians are starting to run out of space here. Eco still looking better for the Magyars, who are a top population. Speaking of which, nessy might actually be getting housed soon here. That's always a very painful side effect of losing your castles, oftentimes if you're not the Mongols. That tends to ruin your population numbers. Maybe the Huns as well, a good shout there, if you want to avoid that from happening. Now has a few skirmishes up already, but that's nothing to speak of. He's going to be able to take out maybe 2 or 3 cav archers with that, but that's not going to halt the push whatsoever, and the Lycats are wreaking absolute havoc, and nessy has to GG as he just allowed Cheese to get into his base with the Lycat 2. Really went from bad to worse within the last, well, 5 to 10 minutes here for nessy, and finally we see some decent Magyar performance on Arena. Great game there by Cheese. Took it slow, took it controlled, stuck to the game plan the entire time, and had a very clean build, a little bit cleaner than nessy, I gotta say, and equalizes the series without a lot of trouble here, although had to defend there for a while and could have definitely gone bad as well, but kept the composure. And as we head back to the draft, we've got the series standing at 1-1. And we're going to game 3, which apparently is going to be on Nomad. I'm not sure about the Civ matchup. Let's see what that's going to be. Nomad game 3, apparently. Yep, that's where we are at. Loading it up. All right. So the series stands at 1-1. We've already seen Teutons against Gujaras and Magyars against Malians. And Nomad is going to be Franks against Italians now. Okay. So far, Cheese, as he said before, has never lost a game 2 or a game 3 in this tournament. If that trend is to continue, he might move to match point after this one. But as I always say, anything can happen on Nomad. Nobody's safe from getting nomaded. So no, definitely far from a surefire victory for any of these two guys. It's got to be nessy's home map though, because they just lost that second game. So expecting nessy to show a strong performance here this time around. And after that great game 1, it's definitely proven that it's got what it takes to pull the series back around. Franks against Italians. Game number 3 in this final series for Bracket J, the Pick Your Poison tournament. And it's nessy here, starting out with the dock in the west, presumably town center in the east though. And Cheese, who's, well, I can't really tell where exactly he's going to set his base up yet, but it looks like he's going to get a pretty nice spot over here with the berries, the gold, and the woodline. So probably going to go for the south there. As always, Nomad's starts don't tend to be as eventful, so good time to once again check out the Civ bonuses that we're working with here. Reminder that the opponent got to choose in this tournament which Civ you have to play on which map. So these, of course, aren't the most orthodox Nomad matchups, or, well, just in general, Civ picks for all the maps that we've seen played. In this one, we've got the Italians on the left, well, in the north, but for the left side player, which is nessy. And it's a Civ that I don't think I would be complaining about here if I had to play on Nomad. A naval civilization here of quite some notoriety. Got cheaper fishing ships. I mean, what more could you ask for? In Nomad, it's so difficult to manage your food and wood eco early on, especially at our lower levels of play. We see oftentimes quite significant idle town center times due to people struggling a bit keeping that eco balance, but cheaper fishing ship being great bonus to have there if you want to, well, maximize the early eco output. That being said, cheaper age up times absolutely perfect as well. Oftentimes you're kind of strapped for res here in the early minutes of the game. What better kind of bonuses could you be asking for than those of the Italians here? So definitely, I think one of the better Civs that you'll be hoping for in this tournament when playing on Nomad. Contrast that on the other side with the Franks for Cheese, and let's see what we think about those. So there we go, got their bonuses up here too. They've definitely got some stuff to work with. Of course, the faster gathering rate on the berries might already be paying off here in a second, as Cheese has opted for a town center quite close to the berries. Does he have any more? Doesn't look like it. Don't think he's going to be able to gather that many berries in this game, although I like this spot for his dock. Could also eventually try and work away at those here. Yeah, that's a pretty good bonus, I guess. to have on this map, but that's always the thing on Nomad. You don't really know what you're gonna start with. Could be starting with 3 berries, could be starting with none of them. So, not great. Cheese saying in chat that shouldn't probably have given the opponent Italians on this map. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what the other options were there, but probably something like Malians might have been a more reasonable pick. Either way, she's now going to have to deal with that one. And what does the Frank bonus list include that might help him here? Well, getting the mill technologies for free is great, because we've seen this oftentimes on this map. A player loses the water, loses the fishing ship, has to transition heavily into farms, but doesn't have the eco to allow for that. Getting all the mill upgrades for free means that at least you get very efficient farms once you start putting them up, saving quite a lot of food from farms in the long run. So definitely could be worse bonuses to have. And cheaper castles, as I said before, you don't always have a ton of res on this map. Cheaper castles, I mean, just allows you to drop them earlier or more of them. So pretty good. On a map where you have to oftentimes fight for priority, secure the little rest that you're able to get. So I don't think I hate the Franks. I just think Italian sounds a little bit better, all things considered. In terms of eco numbers, actually, we're pretty surprising position where the Franks are up 2 eco units. I said before how the cheaper fishing ships for the Italians should allow them to get a little bit of an early lead, but that's not been the case yet at all. We've got 4 fishing ships out for Cheese, 4th one about to come out for Nessy as well, but also with the villagers, Cheese has the 1 extra one. Idle town center time just half a minute less for him, so that's where that eco lead came from, presumably. Both players here doing a good job, not really getting housed this time around. And we see pretty much even state, but again, I'm surprised the Franks got off to a little bit of a better start. Hasn't even started taking those berries yet, so that bonus still in store for him. And both, oh no, actually has added a 5th fishing ship as well here. Cheese has. I thought maybe these guys would stop at 4. Many players have actually just not gone beyond 4 fishing ships in Dark Age on Nomad, but Cheese actually elects to drop another one. So does Nessy though, so still the early eco numbers. And builds in general seem to be quite comparable. Note the mining camp that has just been constructed there by Nessy. Geez, still needing that second building before being able to click up to the next age. That's a trap that some players here have already ran into on Nomad. You gotta have that second Dark Age building up, and you gotta need to take care of that, as it looks like a woman just went down here against the bow. Quite unfortunate there for Cheese, who already has loom, so wonder how that ended up happening. Man, that's the worst. We've been there, guys. When you start losing villagers kind of for free in tournament games, that really puts on a different kind of pressure. And Cheese saying was rather unhappy at this point in the game. It's exactly what I'm saying, and it's kind of the same thing we saw yesterday, for example, from ACCM against Viper in King of the Desert. Spoiler. In the deciding game 5 of that series, ACCM losing a villager to a boar lure as well. And when that happens, and then you maybe get raided a bit, you're already in such a bad state of mind, nothing has worked for you in the game so far, that you're ready to just GG at any point once you really get hit badly. So it can definitely add up, and the pressure is much higher than in tournament games, and people kind of tend to react very harshly there. Let's see if Cheese can stabilize the situation. I still have to say the eco is surprisingly good for him. We've already said how he's got the extra fishing ships mainly at this point, and that should allow him to get up to a feudal age really soon, but still doesn't have that second building. Oh, he just tried to click up there. Oh, he does have the second building now. I'm the idiot once more. Oh yeah, there's the lumber camp. I guess I should get the small trees on for capture age as well. Just lazy to do that so far. It has added the second dock too, So that's nice. Like to see that on the way up to feudal age, so you're really able to fight for that water control. Both sides have done that. I'm not sure they're actually aware of where the opponent's fishing. Nessy surely isn't. Has Cheese spotted the Italians down here, though? Oh, he has. So he might suspect something could be going on there. So interesting. Maybe gonna get the jump there on his opponent. Able to, well, get a pretty comparable feudal age time. Remember that we said this before. Italians have the cheaper cost for clicking up to the next age. So actually being that close in uptime is pretty remarkable. 20 against 19 villagers, 7 against 7 fishing ships at this point as well. Let's see what both guys opt for. We get the barracks out of Cheese here. That I really wouldn't have expected. Okay, that is a surprise to me. He's starting to wall up, so I thought he would just go for a straight FC and maybe add a few warships to contest the water. It seems to be very much the opposite, where... Wow, okay, so we get the barracks. We surely get a stable as well. Yeah, there's the stable then. So, where are we going with this? We've got 0 on gold, so we're not FCing. We've got 800 food, so we... I don't know, are we double stable scouting here, or what's the play? No warships queued up as well for Cheese. I'm not sure about this build, but on the other side, Nessy, same thing. He's not queuing up any navy. Walling up at home and just, I guess maybe he's trying to just go up to Castle Age. Well, I don't know. He's also making scouts, so that's, I guess, what both players have in mind right now. Again, Nessy with the early spearmen being added. I like to see that. He did that as well on Golden Swamp, if I remember correctly. And that has served him well in those scout skirmishes, rather. So I like to see that. That is heads-up thinking. On the other side, no scout, or no spearmen, rather, for Cheese at all. He's the Franks, though, so those scouts have some extra HP. Could be difficult, potentially, for Nessy, who's doing a good job walling, though, so... if Cheese is unfortunate, he might not be able to get into that enemy base at all. Saying that, though, he was at least able to sneak one scout in. He's going to work away at that enemy villager. Gets a second one in there. So, okay, now that is really going to be concerning for Nessy, losing the first villager here. And further in goes Cheese, who, well, the opponent doesn't know where Cheese is just yet, so... Nessy kind of just guessing in the dark here, trying to find the town center. Cheese getting the jump here and figuring out where the opponent was first. Really paying dividends here. Another villager is about to go down for the Italians, and there goes the pig. Nicely microed by Cheese. And this scout rush is getting off to a way better start than it really should have. And the wall is still just barely not closed here on that side. Very unfortunate for the Italians, but they were not able to close the deal there. At least Nessy has made that one warship, so that's putting pressure on Cheese's eco on another dimension here. It looks like all the scouts have gone down in the meantime, but there's still a hole here on the eastern side of the wall that Cheese might be able to exploit at some point. Scouts are in for Nessy now, so it's now the southern player's turn to defend and see if the losses can be minimized here. Does a good job garrison in the town center this time around. Maybe used a bit of an excessive amount of villagers to do that, if I might say so. About to lose a few villagers here in the east, though, so maybe could have done a bit better job protecting that eco. So far, I don't think he's lost any, though. Eco KD sitting at 1 to 2 for Nessy, so he's not been able to pick off a ton, and his main gains were on the water so far. All right. We now see, though, again, the same story. Scouts go into the town center, and that's making it very easy for the opponent to alleviate that pressure. Actually, it looks like both players have cancelled a few scouts from the... Although, no, never mind. Cheese has produced all the 7 scouts that he originally had queued up, and it's kind of just got them stood out here in front of Nessy's base. Still open in the east, so can potentially break in there. Seems he's got different stuff to worry about as of now, because he's clicked up to Castle Age, no warships whatsoever, so seems to be content dropping the water eco and focusing there. Highly likely that he's just going to go for knights now and try to win the game on land. Nessy dropping another stable, so apparently staying in feudal age for just a bit longer. Although that being said, now heavily using the market, so he's gonna click up to castle age as well. Okay, yeah, I don't hate that choice. Kind of need to get that. Oh, it looks a bit ugly there. Looks like he might have mismanaged the market a bit. Oh, he really must have mismanaged that. Didn't it look just way better a second ago? I'm not sure. He must have misclicked there. Real unfortunate. Looks like a lot of resources were just lost there. And still going to be about 2 minutes behind the castle age. So Cheese in an okay spot. But of course down 10 eco units. Mainly due to that fishing ship differential. Of course that's 7 to 2 eco KD. Mainly on water. And Cheese is going to have to try and make up for that on land somehow. Trying to get in here in the west now with the scouts. The east still open and unwalled. That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. Cheese could be getting so much damage done if he was able to find that gap on over here. With the knights later on, that could be a big swing here potentially. Oh man. I'm not sure Nessy realizes that he's still not walled in the very east. And Cheese is up to castle age at this point. He's starting to add these knights. Low upgrades on the cavalry so far, but he's just hit that castle age way ahead of the opponent. So this is where he's got to make some damage. Oh no! No. Was this an overchop or was this here the entire time? It must have been an overchop, I reckon. In go the scouts. In goes the knight too. That is massive. Denying that one villager from house walling it up. Although the spearmen now make sure the house does end up going up there. Again, all the goat villagers are being idled, so that is a good amount of damage done here by Cheese, regardless of whether or not he's able to actually kill any of these wills. Idling the goat for still some time is going to be very effective, and has 5 horses in the opponent's base right now. More knights still yet to come. Oh man, and again the gold has to be abandoned. This is better than it looks here for Cheese, I gotta say. Really able to keep the opponent on their toes. The walls have now come out in the east though. Alright, so that's good, yeah, preventive measures there for Nessy. Can't allow any more units to get into his eco. This is already devastating amounts of damage, but the good news is with the amount of water control that Nessy has, he should be able to still get a fine economy going here in a second. Just has to reclaim control over his base, and it looks like that is what he has been able to do. Gets that double stable knight production going himself as well. But remember, extra HP on the Franks. Oh no, why are we deleting? Okay, so he's moving out with more knights. Quite fortunate that the Frank knights didn't end up sneaking in there. Should be getting a good trade here. Just the numbers making this one favorable for the Italians. And this is a rough castle age position to be in right now for Cheese. I gotta say, I mean, his knights barely have any HP left here and starting to fall one by one. He's been beaten back here from the opponent's base. No more access to that available. Adding a second TC, so maybe that's the avenue back into this. Trying to boom from this point onward, but playing against an opponent with this many knights on the field himself and little map control should be a tough road forward for the Franks. Cheese saying that Castle Age knights have same HP as generic knights with bloodlines in Castle Age. Oh, I don't know the exact percentages there, but that's interesting. Let's see, we've got 100 here and 120 for Cheese. So it looks like Nessy doesn't have bloodlines research just yet. Oh yeah, of course, we see that up here. Lol. But I don't know how the percentages work there, but I guess it's just 20% for both. So, fair enough. Man, this is rough trading here for Cheese. He just doesn't have the numbers to be taking these fights. He's still up in HP and is getting husbandry now, so yeah, he's got some fine upgrades, but no forging for him, so it's not like he's just gonna be able to somehow magically turn these trades around. Cavalier and Paladin get more HP then, of course, because the percentages are higher, I guess. Is that how it works? Either way. Man, I'm not sure I like this position for Cheese. I really gotta be honest. He's got the extra town center. And I'm not sure what's stopping nessy from adding more town centers himself as well. He's got lots of villages on food. But even if he doesn't really focus on the boom here, nessy does, then he should still be able to do a lot of damage with those knights, because these numbers are no joke at this point. 11 knights for an opponent that doesn't have any spearmen, pikemen, whatsoever, any castles. Town centers are fine for protection, but man, knights just hit different there. And this is a fine trade, though. She's able to pick off a smaller side force here for nessy, and that's exactly the type of engagements he should be looking for here. And all the while, though, Nessy's still with 8 fishing ships working, Cheese with none of them, and still being so many villages ahead. I'm not sure why Nessy is sitting on 7.5 minutes of idle TC time on one town center. This is crazy. I think this is really... I mean, of course, Cheese is permanently fighting, so it's not like a totally unforced error, or unforced error, rather. But I think Nessy is making it a bit too easy for Cheese, or rather letting Cheese get away a bit too lightly here in this castle age, because honestly there's no reason for him to be down 15 eco units, 23 villages. She's surely added that second town center, that's good and all, but Nessy hasn't been producing villages here for what feels like 10 minutes. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but that is really hurting him right now, because he's put himself in quite unfavorable position as a result of this. Had the map control there. Oh boy. This is not what you love to see there if you're the Italians. Adding a second TC at home now, but definitely needs to make it a priority first to keep that first TC that he's got up and running. Still adding more knights though, so he's definitely not done with that, and bloodlines on the way as well at this point. Forging now for Cheese too, like to see that. And his knights are gonna get more and more potent as the game goes on, of course. With a pig in the army, okay. He's taking a good trade here. We like to see that. I mean, really, the 4-legged companion here leading the charge, or kind of trailing the charge, more accurately. Able to beat back the Italian assault. And France against Italy. Feels like I'm just watching the 2006 World Cup all over again. Let's see who takes the better end of this engagement, though. Because looking like Cheese actually is in a surprisingly good position here. This eco lead is crazy. Score-wise, he's even up a little bit, which should surprising him here, honestly. Because it can't feel like his early castle age has gone great. But with the pig still here leading the charge and inspiring the troops, he's taking good trade after good trade. And Nessy's knights, man, how much has he invested in these knights? He's invested so heavily in these knights to the point where his villager production has suffered for it, and he's just not traded efficiently. He's not taking the best trades here, and he's again losing a few of them. All these small skirmishes where he's losing small forces just add up. We see the KD at 34 to 31 at this point. It sounds pretty even, but not if we take into consideration the massive investments Nessy has made in order to keep or to get an army onto the map in the first place. Well, that's why I just feel like Cheese has kind of gotten away with murder here, and sends the pig home now. His job is done. Shift is over. But Nessy won't stop throwing away those low knight numbers. Man, I like Nessy's approach so much here. Great balance between water and land, but just the engagements weren't picked carefully enough. Adding some monks behind the house was a good choice, though. Doing a good job with the conversion here, but oh no, you gotta be kidding me. There's a hole in the house wall. I've rarely seen more tilting things. This could be the point the game is over, honestly. 20 knights in your eco. There's basically no coming back from this if Cheese does sufficient damage here. Oh, I don't think Nessy was allowed to have this one happen to him. Oh, this house wall not being completely closed off. It's going to cost him the game, isn't it? Oh, this gotta be Cheese's dream. I mean, could he have wished for any better scenario? Nessy has to call it on the spot. Oh, dang. What an infuriating way to go down 1-2 on your home map here. And now really starting to sweat here likely is Nessy, the 11th seed, who's down 1-2 against Cheese here, back against the wall for Nessy. Gotta play the next match on his last remaining home map. And if he wins that, we go into a decider on Cheese's home map in return. And that was a fun and entertaining game. Let's look at the stats for this one because it was quite close all the way through. So there's definitely interesting stuff to take away from this. All right. Now, resource-wise, Cheese collecting 3,000 more overall is quite surprising, but that's just the eco difference there for the last 10 minutes. An unjustifiably high villager lead, really allowing him to get those numbers up there while Nessy was controlling the water solely for the majority of this game. So he's got to be kicking himself for this one. Got to be tough to bounce back from this one, but if he's able to perform kind of mental reset after this, go in level-headed into that fourth game, it's still his home map. He still should be in a good position to win that. He's still the higher seed, albeit barely. It's not over yet for Nessy here. We've seen crazier comebacks, but let's check the draft real quick to see what map we're going to go to this time around. Game 4 and Game 5, we've not seen anybody play yet in this bracket, of course. Only the finals are best of 5. So now we'll go to Game 4 on Islands, apparently. It's going to be Burmese against Vikings or Mayans against Mongols. Well, if I were to choose, I would probably assume that Mayans against Mongols are the Islands matchup, because I don't think anybody in their right mind would put their opponent onto Vikings for Islands. But well, same thing could have been said for Italians on Nomads, so hey, who am I? Who am I to judge? The confidence would be supreme, but no, indeed, it is Burmese against Mongols here on Islands. And what more could I ask for than a great Mongols game here on the back end of this series? That's our Seth here. She's noticing that the APM levels seems to be significant in his favor, despite actually feeling like in game the opponent paid more attention in significant spots. Well, that's not of course mutually exclusive, right? But you are right that that shouldn't be the case then. But it seems like the opponent is doing a good job in that regard. I'm trying to see real quick if I'm able to get the small trees here on for capture age. If I'm able to get that set up real quick, I'll do that. Nope, that's not the setting. This should be here. It should be. It should be. It's not. Oh, it is. Isn't it? Let me check real quick if I've got it. I don't. Probably would have to restart it for that to take effect. I don't care, whatever. Whatever, it's good enough. There's no trees on this map anyways. So, let's jump in there. Game 4, Cheese on match point there in the finals of Group J. And we're on Islands with Burmese against Mongols for Cheese to, or for Nessy to stay alive in the tournament. And in this series, remember, there's an actual cash prize for this tournament and for the finals in each bracket, I was told. So there's definitely more than just pride at stake here. 13th against 11th seed. Again, whoever takes this one, huge props and a massive underdog run throughout the tournament. Honestly, we had both of them. But we're going to have a very unlikely champion at the end of this stream. It could be Cheese after this game, who's playing as the Burmese, but I'd love to see some Mongols victories as well myself. So definitely pulling for Nessy in this one. Likely, yeah. Would be cool to see a decider as well, right? So, can't lie there. Now, both of these are actually some I'm I'm quite well familiar with. On the left side, it's the Burmese for cheese, which, well, I like for a variety of reasons. I think the infantry, especially the infantry rush of the Burmese, is super underrated. Plus one attack per age seems so unreasonable. I mean, the thing is, I say this every single game, every single time the Burmese are picked, but Magyars get free forging, iron casting, blast furnace. Those upgrades they get for free. That applies to cavalry and infantry, so that's a great bonus to have. But if we're strictly talking infantry, this bonus for the Burmese is nuts. It's much better than the Magyar bonus just for infantry, because you get that bonus which has the exact same effect as the Magyar bonus for infantry. But on top of that, you also get to still research the blacksmith upgrades for each respective age. So that's so unreasonably good for my liking. Man, you can get such potent infantry in feudal age and castle age, even in imperial age. And I see that definitely not utilized enough. So that's kind of the main thing I want to highlight for Burmese. But also, of course, free wood technologies is the dream. Those are the best eco upgrades in the game. Getting those for free, perfect. You don't need to waste time researching them. No rest required. Lovely. You get cheaper monastery tax, which I also think is such a great bonus to have. I mean, think about if you want to go into serious monk play, think about how many monastery tech, how much gold you have to spend on monastery technologies. That is just that's such a great bonus to have, again, if you want to go into monks. That's always the thing, though, because, again, the infantry bonus is nuts if we're going into infantry. And those monastery bonuses are great if we're going into monks. But that's the thing, it is a bit situational, so you're not going to be utilizing them heavily every game. That's kind of the downside there to the Burmese. And maybe the last thing to point out about them is you do see the relics at the start of the game, and if we can highlight the vision here real quick. Cheese is able to see that relic right here, making him know that there's a neutral island right here. He's also able to see those two relics right here, so he knows that his opponent spawned somewhere around here. That is really good bonus to have, actually knowing in which direction and what side the opponent has spawned on here on island. If you here on islands rather, if you want to go for some crazy landings, or if you just want to be able to spot the opponent's landings, perhaps knowing where they are at can be a really good thing to start out with. So maybe not the best islands per se, but with those wood upgrades and knowing where the enemy spawns, those are at least a few bonuses that you can make use of. Back dock there for the Burmese, though, indicating likely galley play in feudal age, whereas on the other side, nessy already having committed to a forward dock in very close distance here between both islands, both main islands, I should add. None of them have spotted the opponent island just yet, but that could change very soon. nessy with the Mongols, and let's put up the bonuses for them right here, the best civ in the game, of course. We've got all the good emotes. We'll get a better race car onager emote very, very soon. It's already completed. The artist just has to mail it to me still, so I can't tease you guys enough with that. But also just the regular Mangan and Mango Die emotes that we've got going right here. This is our civ, so we want to see nessy do well on this. And the first bonus I was going to point out is that Scout Vision bonus. As early as next age, he might honestly be able to see the opponent's island from his own border. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. The Scout doesn't have that crazy vision, but you get the idea. Really nice bonus to have. Not as important on this map, of course. What is important, though, is the hunt bonus that the Mongols have. Gathering super fast from hunted animals, that's boars, but also, well, what are they called? Ibex. Okay, never mind. From deers. You get crazy quickly as Mongols, and you've got a super early game economy. As a result of that, we see nessy go up to feudal age on 23 villages here. Is a very viable number to even do a fast castle build on for the Mongols, if you were to do that, which isn't meta, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend on islands, but I just want to point out how good that early bonus really is. nessy on the way up to the next stage with cheese still taking a little bit longer to get there, although has a lot more fishing ships out. He's already producing his 7th one whereas nessy is still on 4. And of course, as I have to say this every game, drill, the best unique tech in the game. Siege workshop units moving faster. Race car onagers on the map. In imp, that's what I've got my fingers crossed for right here. I hope we get there, but more often than not, games actually end before that. So I've been teased, well, far too often to get my excitement levels up crazy here as we approach feudal age on both sides. Nessy actually already up there, whereas Cheese still 1.5 minutes away. Double dock on the backside for him, where we've got 3 front docks for the Mongols going into fire galleys for now. Looks like the eco might not be set up perfectly, but has the villager numbers queued up so that the food gathering shouldn't be an issue there. Also getting on the mill over here, so it's gonna have enough food to sustain villager production. That's what we like to see. Our Mongols here need to pick up the win in order to produce a 5th and deciding game in this final series. Burmese on the other side now on 9 fishing ships, so geez, really banking on water here. It's a crazy investment though, because if you end up losing water, you lose all these fishing ships, is a tough punch to your economy that you might not be able to recover from if you're investing this heavily into fishing. Cheese goes up to feudal age, has not queued up any warships just yet. He's going FC. Don't tell me he's going FC. There's the market, there's the blacksmith. He's going FC. Oh boy, I don't like making 9 fishing ships and go in FC. Because now you're losing all 9. I think it was a bit of an overinvestment. I mean, maybe he's got this build figured out and it's an intentional strategy, but wow, you see him here. He's starting to get molten through here on his fishing ships. He's just gonna give up water, pretty sure. And what's the play gonna be? Is he just gonna go triple DC boom, try to get a castle up, reclaim water control that way? It's possible. It's not clicked up to castle age yet though. Idle TC time. There we go. He's now going up there. I wonder if nessy spots this. He should be well aware of this happening though. He's way ahead in score. He sees the opponent has no navy whatsoever. He's gone for the back docks even. The only thing that might make nessy think that this isn't a fast castle is that this is a crazy high investment on fishing ships. Wow, he's not bringing over a villager to repair, is he? Don't know. Where is this guy going though? Don't tell me that was a guy intended to repair. Man! What is this? I'm not quite sure about the strategy here. But I'm excited to be along for the ride and figure out where we're going with this. Nessy's gotta feel great in this spot though. He's gotta start smelling the blood in the water here and go for the kill. Man, he's gonna be in such a good spot. I just gotta say, I mean, Cheese is gonna be up to castle age. He's gonna get a very smooth, fast castle off. Oh, he's now going into water as well, so never mind. I thought he would just fully give up water. Apparently he's trying to get back on water and maybe use the tech advantage that he's gonna get there out of getting to castle age first to try and reclaim water control. That would be a surprise to me if he was able to do that though, because the Mongols have been given the entire map here. They've got 11 fire ships going already. She's now going into demos, as we see. Maybe trying to turn the tides with that. But as the docks start getting low, the ships start popping out. It was not the greatest demo hit. And this is not great trades for the Burmese player. He's losing the numbers that he needed there. His ships starting to go down. Oh no. He sent the fishing ships on a trip here around the world. I don't think he's going to see that much more food gathered from those. And his demos was a nice attempt, but well, he's getting better shots off than he should have, but you see his docks starting to go down. He's trying to re-add docks on the front. Nessy cannot allow this to happen though. He needs to make sure he keeps control of the water here. Docks going up in the front, but he's spotted them out, so good attention here by the Mongols. I would like him to actually make a transport and get a scout on the opponent's island here. I think it would be very valuable to have the scouting intel and know what Cheese is doing. Most importantly, you need to know if he's going triple TC or whatever he's doing with his fast castle. Right now, he's committing fully for Navy for some reason. If you're going fast castle here and not predicting your fishing ships at all in feudal age, I think you need to drop 3 TCs, get a 30 villager lead, and then try to get back on water with a castle. I'm not sure that's a viable strategy in the long term, but I think it's more viable than this. Trying to play water after giving up water. He's got a trade cock going even, doesn't he? Oh no, that's a demolition ship. I'm just a troll. Never mind. I'm just a troll. Oh. Okay. So we're not fully trolling yet. No trade cocks in just yet. This could be a really good hit though from the demo. Man, okay, Nessy, gotta really start paying a bit more attention there on my ships. You don't want to... Oh, there he goes. Oh, that was a painful one. Luckily, nobody died here. Nessy now on the way to Castle Age himself. Up 5 eco units. 9 against 6 fishing ships, which, again, are mainly idle for the Mongols right now. Or for the Burmese, rather. These fishermen have been out of work for quite some time. Poseidon has not favored them, and Nessy really taking some unfavorable trades here. I mean, that is the power of Castle Age. The fast fires, or rather the fire ships, way better than the fire galleys on the other side for Nessy, who didn't really respect that spike and just stepped up to the docks here without much worry. Again, kind of needed to prevent all 3 of them from going up here, but spotted them just a tad late, so Cheese for now reclaims the water control here in the front. Let's see if his eco is able to sustain that though, as Nessy is up to Castle Age now as well. He's gonna get that War Galley upgrade. And thus maybe try and come back with the fires and push back the Burmese. This is a closer affair at this point than I would have expected. We see the second TC for Nessy, which I'm a big fan of. I think you need to make sure you get the better position eco-wise. Maybe some lumber camps could be worthwhile for Cheese here as well, but he's been low on rest this entire game. A lot of gold floating right now, interestingly though, but this could be pretty telling trade right now. This looks like Cheese might get absolutely wiped here with all his ships. And that's exactly what it's going to be. Oh, it's absolute horror for the Burmese. They're losing the entire water control here, and they've invested so much into these ships, but for what? To what end? He was able to take out a few of Nessy's fishing ships. I've got to give him that. Looks like he's still able to take out more on the back here, so that was good attention. He got a lot of fishing economy rid, but I'm not sure in the long term that's going to pay off. I mean, Jesus invested so much into water, but he doesn't have the control here. How much can these demos do? That was a good hit there. Still has 1 more remaining. He's going in there. That wasn't such great of a second one. Oh, Jesus, holding on for dear life in this game. He's got a cushion to fall back on, though. He's up 2-1 in the series. He doesn't have to win this game. But you never... yeah, well, you always want to close out a series when you have the chance to. So he's definitely going to look to try and pull every last ace out of his sleeve. Not sure how many aces he's got left up there, though. Because this is really starting to look tough. How many docks has he lost already at this point? How many ships? Oh, he's taken out the enemy fishing economy, but he's invested way more than that in order to accomplish it. So, really still on 1 TC here. The villager discrepancy is just going to continue to rise here if all things go right. Nessy got to keep a calm head here, keep those town centers producing, make sure the opponent isn't able to sneak back onto water, and I think it should be smooth sailing from there on out for the Mongols. Cheese got stuck there, I think possibly referring to the fire ship situation from earlier. Not the trade he wanted to take, obviously. And about to again lose the last front dock that he has. Good demo shot, maybe? I've seen worse. But it's going to take much more than that to take out the enemy fleet here. Alright, Cheese is going to have to do some big work here to convince me this build was worthwhile. so far. Don't think I'd like to be in his spot here, to be frank. Villager numbers looking rough. Military looking extremely rough. Map control looking rough. Population just rough. Eco upgrade wise is a tad ahead, so maybe that's what we're banking on. But again, I think the most important decision for nessy was adding really that second TC, and this time around at least keeping the idle town center time to a reasonable amount. Again, he's probably still kicking himself for that nomad game that he let slip away in Castle Age, but can't allow yourself to wander off with your thoughts like that in an elimination game such as this one. He's still very much in the series. You've got to remember, this is his home map. He should win this one. And then, well, all things are on the table for the final decider, which would then be on Arabia, if he was able to close this one out. And it's not looking bad here at all so far. Up 500 score. He's found again the docks that Cheese has put up. He's now gone for the war galley switch here. Botkin is in, so he's doing great damage with those if he's able to hit. The issue is the upgraded fire ships just melt through your galleys if you position them in a still, just if you keep them idle and try to shoot away. Amazing pincer maneuver. nessy, alright, he is going for it here. He's taken the water. All the galleys go down. At this point, it's got to be like 5,000 res in this game that Cheese has dumped into water units and lost. Sure, he's taken out quite a few enemy ships as well, but I don't think it comes close to making up for the investment he has made. Castle on his island now. This is ballsy for nessy, but of course he can afford it. I still would have liked to see him bring over the scout first. See if the opponent is mining any stone. See if he's dropped any town centers. You've got to assess the situation before going for a blind castle drop like this one. Either way, it's not going to be punished because Cheese doesn't, in fact, have any castles of his own or anything. So, not too bad. Could have just also castled one of the neutral islands. But at this point, Cheese taps out. Don't fault him for that. He's just really far behind here. He tried a certain strategy that I'm not quite sure of. I guess he thought he would be able to get away with a fast castle and still hold on to water control after that, or try to reclaim it, wrestle it back from the Mongols, so to speak. Wasn't able to build up a navy again after the initial fire ships took out his docks. And thus, nessy able to equalize the series at 2 apiece on his second home map, and forcing a decider. Game 5 about to be played on Arabia, which is Cheese's home map. And one game to determine who takes the money, who takes the cash, the bragging rights, who takes the victory in bracket J. The Pick Your Poison tournament. Two of the most unlikely underdogs here, fighting in a winner-take-all game 5. Mayans against... Oh no, never mind. Wait, what? We just saw Burmese against Mongols. Did you guys make a mistake in the draft, or was that intended that way? Because it should have been Mayans against Mongols or Burmese against Vikings, right? I mean, unless I got the wrong draft link here, but... Okay, Cheese said he just he had no clue about the meta and went in pretty much without a plan. Fair enough. If he didn't have a concrete idea there, I guess I can understand why that went the way it did then. Definitely agree. This game was close in some points, but nessy didn't allow for a way back in here. I would say did a pretty fine job at pressing the advantage. But again, I think you made a mistake with the draft here, or something is wrong, because again, this should have been Mayans against Mongols or Burmese against Vikings. Either way, it looks like we're getting a game 5 on Arabia then. So let's pull up the last WOT that we've got. Alright, guys. Alright. Who takes the prize here? Oops, my cam is shot again. Gotta fix that real quick. There we go, we're back. And we've got game 5 of the series ready for you, and let's dive straight in, waste no more time. Bracket J finals. Hey, we do have in-game audio. Who would have thought? Did we have that the entire time and was my headset just unplugged? Or hey, it's back right in time for the deciding game. Whatever the case is. Nessy against Cheese. It's 2 apiece here. 11th seed against the 13. This is as close as it really could be for a finals matchup. And these guys definitely deserve to be here instead of my lousy 2nd seed ass. Vikings against Mayans. There is sound now though, Cheese, isn't there? Because at least I hear it again. Let's dive into the Civ overview first and foremost. Nessy on the Vikings here in the west of the map. Lovely Civ. People that know me know I'm a firm enthusiast there myself. And we see the bonuses right there. They got some love from the April patch overhaul as well. So, yeah, what has changed there actually? Well, most importantly, their unique text system has been changed. They get the Berserk regeneration bonus from the get-go now. Don't have to research attack from that. But their unique tag Chieftains now with the gold bonus you get when killing eco stuff. So that's neat, isn't it? And a new unique tag introduced Bo5 in Imperial Age, making your arbalests super good. You get fully upgradable arbalests minus thumb ring, but with Bo5, so that should be pretty potent in a late game if Nessy was indeed able to get there. Other than that, they still have the bonuses they used to have in terms of free town center eco upgrades and extra HP on the infantry beginning in age number 2. So, lots of options for Vikings. You can go for Drush into Man-at-Arms. You can go for Longswords in Castle Age. Super painful to deal with. You can just go standard Archer play too. They are pretty versatile at this point and got a great eco behind that too. Oftentimes people like to play them on easily wallable maps where they can really exploit those eco bonuses. On the other side though, Cheese on the Mayans. It's got one of the staple Arabia civs too. I think he's going to be very happy getting to play the Mayans in a deciding game on Arabia. That's also one of the more surprising picks here by Nessy, allowing the opponent to play Mayans on Arabia. Now, anyhow, why is this such a nice civ? Well, the eco is great. They start with an extra villager. That's just massive. You get off to such a great start. You're able to pull off very quick builds there, very early feudal age rushes there. Archer rush can be deadly for the Mayans too. Another good eco bonus is the longer lasting resources, of course, and that applies to all resources. I mean, how great is that? You just get those gold pies to stay up a little bit longer. You get the stone. Yeah, just really nice bonus to have, isn't it? And then the marquee, of course, unit of the Mayans is the Archer. Them being cheaper throughout the game, cost decreasing the later it gets. Really nice bonus as well. You can feel that already in Feudal Age as the Scout runs into the TC here. Let's see if Nessy's able to out-micro this. Ooh, Cheese could have gotten a final shot in there possibly, but Nessy able to get out of there with quite low Scout HP, so this is not ideal by any means, but at least he's able to survive there. Yeah, Mayans. Lovely civ for the, what's it called? For Arabia. And the ace up the sleeve, of course, in Imp, Eldorado Eagle Warriors. That is crazy. That is one of the scariest tools to close out games with in the entire game. And they, of course, in low elo especially, if you have a ball of 30, 40 Eagle Warriors, you just run in and take out town centers and castles. You don't have to look back once you get that stack up and going. So I would love to be playing here as the Mayans in a decider game if I was forced to, albeit the Vikings, again, pretty successful and scary Sith themselves, so certainly no slouches. And up 1 minute before Cheese actually is Nessy here on the way to feudal age. Idle times rather minimal for both players, so no big deal there. Barracks on the way for the Vikings. A good job by Cheese scouting that though, and able to delay this one actually. This is really nice, getting good value out of having the Eagle Scout HP remain high here. And yeah, able to delay this barracks a bit. Still going to get up in time though, so Nessy with the 2 villagers able to force up the barracks and now going to be able to add the archery range that he's probably looking to drop at this point. He's got the wood, he's got the barracks, where's the range? There it is, a bit late for my liking. You really want to push the issue here, especially if you're up first, or if you're up this early to the next age. Again, the harassment comes in from Cheese here though, who's adding his own barracks and going to go into archers himself, most likely. Not on gold yet, surprisingly though. That's interesting. Quite late transition to gold there. I wonder if something went wrong there, because he's put the mining camp, he just hasn't built it yet. Wonder if there was a misclick of some sort. Now both plays in the next age, but Nessy has the archer range up first and is queuing up that archer production before Cheese is able to. This is going to be crucial. If both players go into archers, let's see who has the better resources, the better protection on the resources. This is horrible gold for Nessy, very easily rangeable from with archers. On the other side, Cheese has really nice gold here on the kind of on the side as well. But if he just walls here a few tiles away from his goal, this is mineable without worrying about any archers. He needs to drop a wall here on the backside though, because otherwise that harassment completely takes him out there. Should make sure not to allow the opponent's archers to get too much damage done for free. Nessy for his part doing a good job walling the berries somewhat safely, so archer's not going to be too terrible of a harassment there. Still needs to close up the walls here down south, but overall I think Nessy's fine with the space. I just think he didn't do the best possible job planning for archer harassment. This goal is horribly harassable, but I guess he's just going to drop a tower there if push comes to shove. But I think maybe could have done a bit of a better job down here as well, walling straight down. That would allow you to farm this wood, regardless of whether the opponent was able to get any archers over there. And Cheese walling here as well, but again, I would have liked to see him wall behind the gold here. This isn't too greedy a wall. It actually is barely any more palisades than the walls he's putting up right now, and it just allows you to mine gold all the while the opponent might send archers forward. So let's see how it actually plays out. I mean, both these bases are harassable with archers, so it really is going to depend who's going to get on the opponent first. 2 archers out for Cheese, 4 on the field for Nessy, but hasn't actually moved forward yet. And Cheese is just going to waltz in there or what? Okay, he's getting in on the enemy wood line. No fletching yet for either side. Blacksmith's about to go up for Nessy, but there come the archers. Not a lot of damage there. Just 2 of them and no fletching. Oh, he's running into the TC. This is horrible. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, he was so lucky there. He should have taken way more damage. Great preemptive skirmishes though for Nessy. The foresight here to add the skirmishes. He's bringing the archers back. I don't like this. I don't like this. Stop doing this, guys. When we're making... Oh, man. When we're making skirmishes at home, that's all we need to defend the archers. Move your own damn archers forward. And, oh, man. Now Cheese is just going to get to build up skirmishes for free himself. I don't like this. Really. You did such a great job with the skirmishers that allows you to keep the pressure forward with the archers. Instead, he's just chasing down opponent's archers. He got 1 kill out of this whole thing. Oh, he should have pressured in the meantime and made the Mayans uncomfortable at home. Cheese really again getting away a little bit too easily here for my liking. Both players about to have fletching come in. Let's hope both of them are fully walled up. It does look like it, but well, It's kind of difficult to tell, especially with the Mesoamerican architecture. Look at how scuffed this house looks. Who could tell where this house wall ends? So oftentimes when I'm playing Meso, I mess up my walls. Looks like here's a hole as well, isn't it? Oh, it looks like there's an opening in the east. Nessy doesn't know about this, but yeah. Okay, this is scary. Cheese might want to close that sometime soon. But for now, Nessy just knocking on his door on the front. Cheese, in the meantime, going on the offensive himself, trying to find an angle to arrest with his archers. Having some skirmishes added at home, probably not too worried about the skirmish or about the archers that are trying to break in the south here. And he's trading back and forth. Gotta make sure though not to take any free damage, and with the hill it might be a tricky fight to take. Even the archer micro could be crucial here for both players. She's not actually hitting right now either with the archers, just kind of has them in a limbo here between both bases, not currently accomplishing a whole lot. Eco-wise, it looks really nice for Nessy. He's housed, but I mean, he's almost able to go up to the next age already. He's got the buildings required, and he's about to have the resources too, so he's not looking to play an extended feudal age here. I'm not sure this is enough against the Mayans, though. He's got 4 minutes of idle TC time? Oh, no. Oh, Nessy, oh, Nessy. It's gotta be the nerfs here in the 5th game. Ah, oh, this poor guy. Oh, no. He's 4 minutes of idle TC time. He's down 5 villagers to the Vikings. Oh, no. He's able to clean up the forward archers, so that is something at least. But man, he's on the way to Castle Age, but with what is the question? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Let me just mute Discord for a second here, as I'm streaming. Alright. No more Discord sounds there, my apologies. Just half a minute separating these two guys. Oh, Nessy looked so nice with his resources there. I was so hyped for him to get up to Castle Age first. But I didn't see the eco numbers discrepancy. Oh no. I don't think you can typically get away with this against Mayans. I was gonna say, if he wasn't equal villager numbers, getting that earlier Castle Age is nice, but I still would have been doubtful about that being worth, because you can't just typically allow the Mayans to have that smooth sailing up to Castle Age either. And if they upgrade all those archers and are allowed to add even more cheap crossbows, you can see triple range it's gonna be for Cheese here. Oh boy, that is a tough look for the Vikings. I'd be scared going up against this at this point. She's saying there is no hole over here. How is there not a hole here? I've selected all the palisades. It says there's only 2 palisades here. There's gotta be a hole there. I don't know. Maybe it's just a capture age. Maybe it's just in the graphics. But this is looking weird. On the wood, well, maybe you were talking about the wood line. There's no hole at the wood line. That is correct. Oh boy. Both players up to Castle Age. Nessy looking pretty rough here, I gotta say. I mean, he's gonna get that crossbow upgrade right now, but he's about to lose a few of these crossbows already, I fear. He's got Botkin. These are really strong crossbowmen, but he's not taking the fight. The numbers are looking rough, and there's lots of skirmishes in the opponent's force. So I understand the instinct to move back here. But what are we really backing into? We're going into Knights here. I guess that is his hope right now. He realizes he's a bit behind in eco numbers, and the opponent was also up to Castle Age at a comparable time. He's got more army, so I guess Knights is now the approach for Nessy, trying to catch the opponent off guard with that. Oh man. Mayans have pretty decent pikemen and halberdiers themselves though, so that is not a long-term option there for the Vikings. Let's see what they're able to do with that. Maybe he can get a great trade there against the skirmishers and crossbows who struggle mightily against well-upgraded knights, so I don't think this is a terrible play. He's got to find a good window though, trapping a lot of these and wiping out a big number of them. Currently, he's the one getting hit though. That wood line is getting harassed, and Cheese is getting a lot of work done in this game already. And again, this might be the second game in the series where Cheese is put to a winning position, mainly due to the opponent not queuing up villagers. And you can chalk that up to Cheese's pressure, but also maybe Nessy's misplay here. I mean, it's probably one of the most stressful situations Nessy has ever been in playing this game. He's in a tournament final in a game 5 on the opponent's home map. I can understand why it wouldn't be the easiest one to play, but he's really gonna have to pull out some magic tricks here. He's got the smaller military force. He's patrolling back and forth with those crossbows, trying to trade against the skirmishers, but he's not able to find good trades currently. Oh, his knights also, his cover has been blown, his surprise effect is gone. And that's horrible trades for him right now. The crossbows just need to keep running away from now as he builds up more military numbers. And Cheese moves further and further ahead in this game. Idle TC times getting high for both players now. Getting to real scrappy gameplay. But it's all coming up Cheese for now. Who's looking in a great spot here. The knights, again, would be giving them some trouble if they were fully upgraded and if there were a bit more of them. In this case, though, he's still able to trade okay against them, despite having a lot of skirmishers in there. He's somehow able to beat back the knight force. I would like a few there comes the pikeman upgrade, okay. I would like a few pikemen in there, though, nonetheless. I don't think anything prohibits you from adding a few in there, making those knight raids much less appealing for Nessy. And I wonder why neither player has gone for a second TC. Oh, never mind, we have a second TC for Nessy. We've had one for quite a while, probably. Good choice. And second TC also coming in for Cheese now. So definitely, if you're not able to do eco damage right now, you need to expand your own eco in the meantime. So that is the correct play there, definitely. Ballistics coming in for Cheese as well. And Elite Skirmisher too. His upgrades are looking pretty great. Can't lie. He's getting that second TC up and has a third one on the way too. Knights coming in from the east though. Maybe Nessy could be able to pick off a few villages here. That TC isn't gonna go up. He's able to actually beat those villages down before completion. And okay. Small victories here. Baby steps for Nessy. Back into an even game state here, possibly, as he tries to stabilize the position. He's got knights and crossbowmen in the field, and abundant masses of both. Upgrades coming through as well, chain barding. Those knights are going to be tricky to deal with. The pikeman upgrade for Cheese was well thought out. And then again, I first guessed this. Was a good call. Going for those, and ballistics also helping out nicely against those knights. So Nessy, despite now getting a few more of these upgrades and getting the knight numbers up, might be facing an opponent who has just the right tools to deal with his knights. The woodline has been overchopped though by Cheese. He might want to fix that here real quick, because there's 2 entrances currently here through the wood. Possibly, actually 3 it is. 3 overchopped spots. So he could be dealing with a lot of knights here in a second. Although Nessy, again, he doesn't have a ton of them, so he might struggle breaking through the crossbowmen here. The open woodline. Was it a bait the entire time as the knights run in? Oh, he's just getting cut down here. That is a great trade for Cheese, actually. He's got the army in the right place. And this is the dream scenario for the Mayans, man. He's just on 3 TCs, relatively smooth booming here. Not getting harassed too hard, has a crossbow mass at home that he can use against really whatever the opponent throws at him. And Nessy now going to try to pull a third card, and that's going to be the Mangonel card. Luckily we've got emotes for those. And that's going to have to be the magic trick dealing with the opponent's crossbows. So let's see who's got the better Mangonel or Archer Micro. Is Cheese going to be able to deal with Siege? Or is this Nessy's ticket back into this game? Man, it's gonna be tough. I gotta say, I don't like this game state for him, but he's still... What I like to see is the activity. He's sending the knights forward constantly. He's trying to get harassment done. He's about to break into the palisades. Once more, house wall coming up for Cheese, though. So he's paying some good attention. And wow, that house actually is able to stabilize. I wouldn't have thought. Palisade's not as durable though, and in are the knights. That gold mine is going to suffer, I'm telling y'all. Back go the crossbowmen. And Cheese was a bit too reliant on that, well, very scrawny looking palisade wall here. That's a lot of villagers down. Good job by nessy. He's got to look for these small edges and keeps the eco numbers close by, well, merit of that raid. More knights still coming out. That is the one thing that has worked for him so far. Is knight raiding. Again, he's got to hold on to these numbers better though. As good choice by Cheese to keep a few units at home, especially the pikemen. But still send out a raiding force forward. There's 3 mangonels for nessy. Holy smokes! Oh boy! He's running straight through! What a giga chat! I've never seen such huge balls on a... Oh boy, okay, never mind. Oh god. Oh! Everybody dying here. Oh god. I mean, I thought he probably didn't pay attention, but once he was in these mangonels' faces, I thought he might just stand still and cut down one after the other. But no, he ends up just getting taken out there. Well, okay, that was a reasonably sized victory for nessy. Kind of getting those military numbers in a more reasonable balance. The eco idle or the town center idle TC time really is criminal though. He's on 2 TCs, he's got almost double the idle TC time of his 3 TC opponent. That's why he's down 10 eco units right now, despite the good rating and the 13-1 eco KD that he has. If he's just able to fix that idle TC time here, I think he could have already won 1 extra game in the series and possibly this one as well. We don't know how it turns out yet, but it's looking really nice for Cheese, I gotta say. 13th player in this bracket. He's in a good position on Mayans here, approaching the late game. On Arabia. Is this enough for him to win the tournament? In bracket J? We'll have to see. Nessy's still got a scary amount of knights in the opponent's eco though. He's not currently finding the villagers sadly, but he's going to get there. I guess the woodline is going to be his target. Same thing on the other side though. Cheese has broken in. Where are the mangonels? 3 mangonels here up north. He's got to move them down ASAP. If he's able to trap those crossbows, this could be massive. The game might swing on the tip here. Oh man, that's a lot of villagers going down on the woodline. What is Cheese going to be able to do to recover from that? Is he going to be able to inflict similar casualties on the offensive end? We'll just retreat into the town center. The mangonels come over. These mangonels could win or lose the game here. I'm telling y'all, if he loses these mangonels, this could be a dire situation. Split comes out. Lots of crossbowmen go down. Another salvo hits. This is great trades right now for nessy. He's cutting down masses of crossbowmen. And Cheese is kind of falling apart on offense here. And the defense isn't looking much better, I don't think. He's lost absolutely everything here on nessy's base. The Vikings have recovered in the momentum and they've actually taken the eco lead now on the way to him. Whew, is he doing this, man? Is he coming back in this game? He's still up against Mayans, who are so tough to actually beat and take out in the end. Oh, whew. Best fight of the tournament coming up, did Cheese say 2 minutes ago. Well, that was the deciding fight of the game so far. It allowed nessy to come back in this game from a pretty rough spot into a okay spot. He's up eco units. He's on the way to imp. Cheese is not. He's now fully transitioning into Castle Age Eagles. He's got 0 upgrades for them so far. That is ballsy. Eagles are awesome against siege and against crossbows. They struggle heavily against knights. Now the good thing is they are viable long-term options. Imperial Age Viking Knights can't beat Imperial Age Mayan Eagles. So if Cheese has a good eco, he can just make nothing but Eagles and win the game with that. If he has a good enough eco in Imp, that is. He's still ways away from that though. He's currently still stacking up the eagle numbers, and he's going on offense trying to get the raiding going. Eagles moving into that TC. There's a lot of army there for nessy to defend that though. So I think this first kind of mass, or the first mini forward scouting, from Cheese there, just going to get taken out without dealing too much damage. And again, he's kind of giving away his plan with that. In go the Eagles, trying to see if they can catch out any opponent's eco. Nessy with the forward castle too. Okay, he's really pushing for it now. He's got the knights there to protect the villagers. He should be able to kill those enemy eagle warriors. It's Imp against Castle Age right now. Cheese is really going all in on this Castle Age. He's got 36 eagle warriors in queue. He's just got 4 barracks, so it's going to take a while for all of them to get out. Eagle Warrior is one of the slowest producing units in the game, actually. Harassing some of the town center, but that's all he's currently accomplishing. And a gold has been denied from Cheese by Nessy's forward castle. Vikings looking pretty good all of a sudden. He's not produced any villages in the meantime. It's a super stressful game for both players who are above 30 minutes, well, who are approaching half an hour of idle TC time here. We really see them sweating here at this point. It's probably not either player's cleanest game here, but they're neck and neck here trying to wrestle back control from their respective opponents. Cavaliers in for Nessy now. Cheese with just Castle Age or Eagle Warriors rather. This is not the trade you want to take. Oh no. This is going to be a rough one, although at least it's not Imp upgrades yet on the cavalry attack. So Nessy doesn't have the perfect upgrades there. The Eagles trading fine against the Trebuchet, but they're not quite able to take it out. She's about to lose another big trade here army-wise. Oh, Nessy is really doing a good job here, pushing right now. He's protecting the traps. He's got the exact right army he needs against the Eagles. I've told you all how much I love the Mayan Eagle Warriors, but you need Imp to really have them be a viable option here. Nessy is probably an arm's reach away here from winning the series outright. I've got to say, how has he bounced back from this one? Such a close game 5 here, and he's looking great, chipping away at the enemy town center right now. Jeez. Oh, he's looked so good early on in this one. But has he got anything left to beat back this push? I highly doubt it. He's got the infantry upgrades. Where are the pikemen now? He's got the resources for trash units. He's got some barracks up and running. Where's the pikemen? You Eagles can't deal with the cavalry. The pointy boys can. Down goes the first TC though, and that's all the farming economy open up to raids from the Cavaliers. I really think the game is about to end on this push, guys. Oh, what a way for the finals to turn here. I've rarely seen a closer fought game 5 here, and especially in this tournament where games tend to escalate so quickly. Massive props to Nessy, who had to feel like the entire momentum in the series was against him. But he was able to pull it back with that Night Switch, and the Mangonel play really able to beat back the opponent's raid and yield massive benefits. And there we go! Cheese calls it in a massive turnaround game 3. Nessy wins the bracket. Huge congratulations, man. The game 4 and 5 victories, clinching first place in bracket J of the Pick Your Poison tournament. Man, this guy, worthy winner of our bracket here. I didn't face him, sadly, myself, but he earned it. He earned his way up here. And as the 11th seed, is able to take the title there. So, great. That was nicely done. Props there. Cheese fighting a very close series, and by all means should have won this series. I think he was in a winning position here in this game. His own analysis is 8 barracks and the Eagles still produce so damn slow. Exactly what I said. It's one of the slowest producing units in the game. And you can't... as I said, Imp Eagles against Imp Knights for the Vikings, no problem. But Castle Age Eagles against Imp Knights from the Vikings, I think you need the pikemen in that case. No idea why he didn't continue with archers and just add more pikes instead of eagles. Well, the Eagles were tempting. When the opponent went, when it was Castle Age against Castle Age, your Eagles killed everything the opponent had. Just adding a few pikes in there would have probably been good still, But Castle Age Knights were okay-ish to trade into, and the mangonels and crossbows you would have shredded through. So I guess why I get why the Eagles were tempting. And in Imp they would have killed absolutely everything. But you're absolutely right that the mangonel trade decided this finals. Absolutely right. The mangonels shredding through your crossbowmen, you can't really out macro 3 mangonels unless you're like Hera. Or, like, I'm not exaggerating, right? That's like not even the pro players. Most pro players aren't able to out micro 3 mangonels. You felt super behind all game because of so much idle TC time. Well, you had no way of knowing that nessy had way higher idle TC time the entire time. You were ahead in eco numbers, pretty much. So that is super unfortunate for you. This is super sad. I would be absolutely furious with myself if I were you. I'm not trying to drag you down, by the way. I'm just saying you had this finals in the back. And maybe the thing is, though, you couldn't have known that because in 2 of these games, on Nomad and here in this game again, nessy did all the damage to himself by not producing villagers. Like, there was no reason for him to be behind in villagers like this. Besides, of course, the stress and the attention that he was demanded of him. But really, so I get why you would have felt that, and I get why you didn't realize that you actually were in really good spots here. But what a way to lose it, though. You're super right that this would have been avoidable, and this could have been your victory, but it sucks. There has to be a loser, right? And no matter who would have lost this one, they would have felt really bad because this was a super winnable series for both players. And you're already up to 1060 elo. Well, that's great. That's great because I think I'm down to 1020 right now. I don't even know. I'm not even playing on my main account in these last couple of weeks. I'm trying to learn some new stuff, and that I'm doing on some Smurfs. But either way, respect, yeah. I can definitely tell you've performed great throughout this tournament. That 13th seed is definitely not up to date. And you showed up well. Fortunate that it didn't end up working out for you there, but nessy takes our bracket here and takes the bracket J victory and title and the cash prize, which I don't know how big it actually is at this point, but he's gonna get that as well. So thanks to everybody for coming out. This was the first full best of 5 that I've cast. It's oh boy, it's about to be midnight here, and I gotta get up very early tomorrow. So I've got to cut it here. This will go up to YouTube in 24 hours. But that's got to be it from me for today. It was an amazing tournament, really. All these bracket J guys, I'm going to give a shout out to. You did great. And thanks again, of course, to Komi for the raid, and to him and to Daniela for hosting this tournament. It was a great time here, everybody. See you as well. Cheese. Have a good time, everybody. And I'll be back tomorrow casting the finals of Group G. So stay tuned for that. I've been watching too much KOTD, my apologies.